What's up, folks? I'm Odd, by the way, and welcome back to my Tober of Tobers, which is basically kind of like Inktober, but more random. So, we have here with us today this wheel, and this is going to be days 13, because today's 13, days 13 through the 15. Sorry, I'm bad with numbers. I got the days wrong the other day as well. I'm not good with numbers, apparently. At least not when it comes to dates. It gets weird. Anyway, basically this is a selection of prompt lists that I found on Tumblr, There were at least more than 31 of them. And the concept is basically I'm going to be rolling for today, day 13 from the 13th list that we have picked. And then day 14 from the 14th list, so on and so forth until the end of the month. And we are halfway through, basically, after this, because this is episode 5, and I'm going to be doing 10 episodes overall, 3 for each episode, except for the finale, which will be 4. So, that will go up on November 1st, after the end of the month. But it's fun to have a day after Halloween to kind of appreciate the month of October, right? Alright. That being said, though, let's get started and just spin our wheel. And a boop. And place your bets for the color now. Yellow. Yellow. Nice. Okay. Link the new tab. I'll remove this from the wheel. We have Prismatic Sprinkles, Scary Cute, Spooktober. And what did I say? Day 13? Wild card. Darn it, I don't. I don't want. Oh, here we go. I got alternate prompts. And these are all the wild card. Okay, these are the wild card prompts. 13 is coffin. Listen, I'm cool with doing whatever you want for a day, but I want a direct prompt. That's part of the point. And it means I don't need to come up with something. Alright, so that's today's, and then day 14. And I'm gonna guess, I can't guess now. Yellow again? Yellow again, alright. Open you in a new tab, close the other one, I'll remove you from the list. Oh, look at this one, it's so cute, it's like a little, it's like a little calendar. Isn't that cute? Unofficial Inktober list from Slithu? I don't know. Looks very cute, very aesthetic though. And the day is 14 and the prompt is fierceness. So that's interesting. Grab you. Alright. And for our final selection, drum roll, and I'm gonna guess blue. Oh, no. Yellow again! 3 yellows. Okay. Then get a new tab. Close you. Move you. Right, pumpkin lollipops draw Tober prompts. And this is gonna be 15, right? Our final one. Day 15. Candlelight. Alright, that should be interesting. So we have our prompts selected for this batch, and at that I will throw this over to SpeedPaint VoiceOver, which will be about 3 days in the future for me, so see you there. So for day 13, I had the prompt coffin, and initially I wanted to try some kind of spin on this. I really did. I tried to make some sort of coffin mimic at first, thinking it would be more noble, almost, to have a creature that punished those looking to plunder graves, or I didn't even think about that, and just noticed that adventurers love to loot. But I was just not vibing with it. Eventually I went for the obvious vampires, but I still wanted something relatively original, so I thought it would be funny to have 2 vampires getting caught making out in the coffin, with one scandalized and the other very much like, "Do you mind?" about to close the lid. The kind of scandalized vampire is inspired by 1920s slapper fashion, so I imagine she's from the same era, and the more annoyed one is kind of your more classic, gothic, Victorian-esque vampire. I don't know how much of it was me noodling with coffin designs, but the sketch process for this alone took an hour, I definitely don't mind taking more time on these pieces, and I've let myself be leisurely about it before, or focusing on the details, but man did I struggle with like every part of this process. Despite what seems to be a usual struggle in this challenge, the results are usually worth it. The 1920s vampire is named Chloe, and the Victorian vampire is named Beatrice. B met Chloe at the peak of the Roaring Twenties, and the two hit it off. Chloe, human at the time, was a spark of sunshine that Bea adored. Neither of them had any real desire for Beatrice to turn her into a vampire, but then Chloe got deathly ill. Not prepared to lose her this soon, Bea reluctantly turned her. After a lot of angst, the two eventually settled into a relatively strong relationship that has lasted well over a century. Chloe is still the regular ironic ball of sunshine, whereas Bea is definitely more standoffish. Despite the scene here, she's still usually the more easily flustered of the two, but she gives it off as more anger or annoyance. Chloe finds it adorable, of course. Day 14 was Fierceness, and this is another instance where the characters I'm drawing technically already existed, but only really in my brain so far. Here I'm drawing basically the two main characters from a story I've been thinking about writing for a while. It would probably be more like young reader centered almost. Obviously anyone could enjoy the story, but the nature kind of gives off a younger vibe in my mind. Not to mention the characters are also quite young, somewhere in adolescence, but it's hard to tell because they're also dragons. This was another sketch that was hard to hash out. I feel like I have an idea for what I really want these characters to look like, but I can't quite get to it. I did eventually land on something I liked, though. In this world, dragons sort of use almost virtue names. They're usually named a little while after they hatch for attributes their parents think they see in them or ones they want them to have. Like a very overwhelmed pair of parents may name their child Patience, for instance. Left to right here we see Tenacity and Bravery. Bravery is the main focus of the story. She's, ironically, very meek and sort of behind on average from all of her peers physically. Tenacity is effectively her bully, but the two get lost outside of their home and have to find a way back together. In the piece, we have Tenacity, showing off of some of that fierceness, true to her name. It's funny, though, that the two share such similar names, but such different connotations, and such different personalities to boot. Finally, day 15 was candlelight, and this was actually one of the more quick pieces. Still took some decent deliberation, but I had an idea to make a sort of fire beastie tied to a candle. I did something somewhat similar a pretty long time ago with candles as the idea of like domestic fire. Obviously, a dragon-like creature was the first thing that came to mind. Very cute, associated with fire, and that lovely potential to possibly grow out of control, much like a regular small fire. The concept itself came through pretty quickly, but I also wanted to play with more effects this time around to try and get that really cool glowy effect. I'm not quite sure if the finished result is 100% where I'd like it, but it turned out pretty well. I'm obviously scripting this and editing the video the day of, and I was just kind of exhausted today. I think my period is about to sneak up on me, honestly, and that always leaves me a little wonky. Regardless, this little friend is called a Pyroris, or otherwise is referred to as a pocket dragon, though that name can be misleading because they can become anything but. The Pyroris is hatched by lighting it aflame, usually on a candle or in a hearth. They take a more solid form as time goes on, but they always keep that very fiery nature. When provoked or overly emotional, they can turn right back into a huge conflagration. To the experienced mage, they make great familiars, but they are best not underestimated as simple magic pets or first-time familiars, despite the ease of the spells used to create them. Many a town has been burned to ashes by these creatures after they've been mistreated by an amateur magic user. But those are this batch of prompts. Let me know which one of these is your favorite, and of course give this video a like if you did like it. You can also always subscribe to catch the rest of this series and all other fun art challenges I do in the future. Obviously this is a bit more of a frequent posting, but I do usually post every week outside of October, where it's going to be every 3 days. At that though, I'll leave this here, and I'll see y'all next time.